would just like to say I am sorry to my weebs, my geeks, and my LGBTQIA peeps. I did not mean for this video to be posted so late, but it is. Hopefully, this is getting posted on Monday. Please tell me it's Monday when you're hearing this. So school kind of got crazy on me, and I was like, whoa, and they're like, here's just your pile of work and presentations you have to do, and I was like, what? Why? I'm on summer break, and they're like, too bad, and I was like, all right. But no, everything's good. I got through state testing. I got through some of my presentations. So right now, I'm like, let me sit down and record this video. And that's what I'm going to do. So today, we have our first Loki fanfiction, and it's going to be awesome because it's written by the Sad Hatter. Make sure to go support them because they're amazing and very talented, and we love authors in this community. And the link to this fanfiction, as well as the music, is in the description below. So make sure to go check everyone out. Really, just check everyone out. Just do it. I know you want to. Click it. Click that link. Go on. Do it. Okay. That's all I have for this intro. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got. All right. See you at the end of the video, guys. Bye. Or I guess see you later.
My lady, I require your assistance!
Thor boomed as he landed on the lawn in front of you. You looked up with furrowed brows, a spoonful of gelato halfway to your mouth. Mine?
Time is of the essence,
he said in a rush, grabbing a hold of you and pulling you taut against his chest. Thor, buddy, I'm flattered, but you're not really my— Whatever you'd been about to say was cut off as Thor twirled Mjolnir and you were both pulled into the air. In your shock, you managed to drop your gelato and you sadly watched it hurtle to the ground, a pout forming on your lips.
Gap, did you hear that yelling?
Tony asked, running onto the lawn.
Yeah, I did, but there's nobody here,
Steve said, scratching his head. They both jumped back in shock as a small tub landed on the ground between them, the icy treat splatting on the ground.
What the— oh my god, it's a cloudy with a chance of meatballs!
The wind was whipping through your hair, stinging at your skin, and in no time, you were shivering violently. You tucked yourself into Thor's body as much as you could, quickly getting over the grossness in favor of warmth and basically shoving your face into his armpit. Thankfully, the awful journey was over quickly, and Thor landed in an abandoned parking lot somewhere in the city, trying to pry you off of him.
My lady, we have arrived,
he said, trying to coax your arm off of him. Arrived? You asked, your teeth chattering.
Thor, you buffoon! She's frozen solid!
Someone was yanking you away from Thor and wrapping a green cloak around your shoulders, and as soon as you looked up at them, your jaw dropped. You accused.
Me,
he confirmed with a slight grimace.
My lady, it's not what you think. Loki is not the same man who once attacked this world, and I need the assistance of the Avengers, who is not predisposed to hate him,
Thor explained. You kidnapped me? You killed my gelato and took me here because— you demanded, shooting a furtive look at Loki as you tried to not be obvious about huddling into the coat he placed on your shoulders.
I didn't kill anyone,
Thor answered. His face twisted up into guilt and confusion, and you could see him replaying the scene of your kidnap in his mind to remember if he'd accidentally killed someone called Gelato.
Gelato is a Midgardian dessert,
Loki said dryly, looking between you and Thor judgmentally. He was disappointed that Thor had killed the dessert and thought you were an idiot for being upset about it. You, meanwhile, were regaining sensation in your outer limbs, and the panic about what the journey had done to your hair set in.
I need your help convincing the other Avengers of my brother's innocence,
Thor pleaded. Nah, you said with a shrug.
Nah,
Loki repeated.
It means no,
Thor helpfully explains.
I know what it means, Thor. I am not an idiot. I was only trying to be helpful, brother. I don't need help from you. If I did, I would ask.
You slowly backed away from them, their bickering covering your retreat. They continued to argue as you backed around the corner, colliding with the real God of Mischief, while one of his apparitions kept Thor distracted. "Are you stalking me?" you demanded, stepping away from the tricky god.
Not on purpose, he said with a sly grin.
Then why did your brother just kidnap me?
I did not send him for you, though I would be lying if I had not hoped you would be the one that he chose to bring,
He told you. Does he know? Does anyone know? You hissed.
Your secret is safe,
Loki purred. You ducked your head around the corner to make sure Thor was still preoccupied before, with a wicked grin, you grabbed a handful of Loki's shirt and dragged him down to your level. He came all too willingly, his smirking lips connecting with your own. "Alright, Thor, I've thought about it, and yes, I will help you clear Loki's name," you heard yourself announce. You made a low noise of confusion in the back of your throat and opened your eyes to see yourself. You were standing in the center of the parking lot with your arms crossed.
"Oh, you sneaky bastard,"
you muttered. Loki just chuckled lowly and moved his lips to the tender skin of your throat and quickly distracted you from his scheming while your doppelganger signed you up for Thor's cause.
2 days later.
"Thank you for coming to the emergency family meeting," you greeted once all the team had gathered in the common room.
"I was told there was donuts,"
Clint said, still looking around hopefully, even though he knew deep down you'd lied.
"She told me there was donuts as well,"
Sam said with narrowed eyes.
"She told me you fell over and she was going to play the footage for us,"
Bucky said to Sam.
"Actually, that part wasn't a lie,"
you admitted.
"What?"
Sam said indignantly. "You forgot to tie your shoelace after sparring yesterday, and Friday saw you fall over in the stairwell. We will enjoy the footage after the meeting," you told them in a brisk, professional tone.
"Alright, I think I speak for everyone here when I say we are willing to sit through whatever it is you have planned, since we'll be rewarded after. So get on with it. We want to see Wilson make an ass of himself,"
Tony announced. "Thank you. Now, Avengers, teammates, friends, family, I have brought you all here to watch my very important presentation," you said, setting up the projector.
"Oh god, she made slideshows."
"Slideshows, pie charts, graphs, surveys. I've got it all, baby," you said gleefully, switching the projector on. "Why Loki is innocent and deserves a second chance."
"You have to be fucking kidding me,"
Clint snapped.
"He isn't, and he doesn't. Presentation over,"
Tony agreed.
"Kid, you weren't around back then. We met Loki, we fought him. He's a villain."
Steve sighed, trying to kindly let you down.
"I'm intrigued,"
Bucky announced, and everyone looked uncomfortable.
"Buckinator, Loki's 50 Shades of Crazy.
He wasn't brainwashed," Tony said. "Actually," you said gleefully. "Thor, what color are Loki's eyes?" you asked the God of Thunder, who was sat in the corner looking hopeful.
"Green,"
he answered immediately. "And as his brother, someone who grew up with him for 1,000 years, can say this with absolute certainty?" you asked.
"I can, m'lady."
"Excellent." You switched to the first set of photos, a close-up of Clint and Dr. Selvig's eyes when they were under the influence of Loki's scepter, before you showed them Loki's eyes, which were a more dulled blue. Wanda, Vision, and Bucky sat forward in their chairs, intrigued. You then went on with the rest of the evidence, highlighting how every one of Loki's actions had resulted in his defeat. He had deliberately and carefully orchestrated to assembling of the Avengers, even going so far as to make sure the Hulk was in the play. You played footage from the Helicarrier and the tower to back up your claims, showed surveillance photos and testimonies from Thor and yourself, and the Peace Day Resistance. This is not the face of someone who realizes they are winning. This is Loki realizing that despite his efforts to manipulate the Avengers into defeating him, the Chitauri are wreaking havoc anyway. Everyone was silent as they pondered over what you had said. In conclusion, Loki wanted to lose. He masterminded his defeat, fighting off the mind control he himself was under. As such, he deserves a chance to make up for the events he was at the center of. "The defense rests," you announced, sitting down next to Thor.
She doesn't even know Loki, Clint said, gesturing to you.
She doesn't even go here, you mimicked in a high-pitched voice.
Don't mean girls me, he grumbled. He's got a point. Why are you so invested in this?
Steve asked you. Well, remember about 4 months ago when Strange asked me to tidbit and pick up an artifact for him? You began. 4 months ago.
So what does that say?
You asked, frowning at the ancient dialect carved into the stone archway.
It's a warning. It means only a woman whose blade has drunk the blood of the guilty may pass.
Hardcore. I knew stabbing bad guys would pay off one day, you snickered.
Quite. Now if you wouldn't mind going in and collecting the Sword of Conquest.
Dr. Strange sighed impatiently. And once I do that, you two will hold up your end of the bargain. You checked?
Once we have the sword, Strange confirmed.
Okay, you said, and lithely skipped through the archway, pausing on the other side.
Nothing happened.
You weren't struck down by lightning, the temple didn't crumble around you, and Strange looked at you like you were an idiot. Which, in his opinion, you probably were. BRB! You called to him and made your way into the temple.
It pretty much looked like what you expected an ancient Tibetan temple would look like, and it didn't take you long to locate the deadly-looking sword lying on the altar. You were a little disappointed it wasn't encased in a boulder, and you wouldn't get your Excalibur moment. I wouldn't do that if I were you, someone said as you reached for the sword.
You spun around, your eyes searching the shadows for the owner of the voice.
Okay, creepy guardian of the temple,
I'll bite. Why not? You called.
I am not a guardian of the temple, mortal, he said, stepping into view.
Well, fuck, you sighed. When the trickster god who once tried a hostile takeover of your planet was stood in front of you, looking at you like you were a minor annoyance he was about to get rid himself of, your immediate thought shouldn't have been, why did nobody tell me how panty-dropping sexy you were in person? His eyebrow shot up, and you realized you'd spoken out loud. Oh well, maybe you could flirt your way out of this. Never mind the fact that you couldn't seduce a pancake. Never mind an actual god.
Wait, how did you get in here? My blade has tasted many kinds of blood, guilty and innocent, he said simply.
Fair enough, but... You trailed off, deliberately checking him out.
A simple illusion to trick the temple into seeing me as a woman.
Neat. So, what do you want with the sword, and why shouldn't I pick it up? You asked him.
If you try to take the sword without making an offering in return, the blade will drink your blood,
he explained as he leaned over it, studying it. What kind of offering?
Another blade, one still wet with the blood of the guilty,
he hissed, and there was suddenly a knife at your throat. Look, hiding Bucky's arm in Sam's shower makes me an asshole, but I'm hardly guilty. You scoffed, calmly pushing the knife away. But you are guilty, you added, tapping your own knife against the inside of his thigh, over his femoral artery.
Impressive,
he nodded dryly, surprised you gotten the drop on him. So, how much blood we talkin'? Will a drop do? Because if so, I promise this won't hurt. Much, you said, batting your eyelashes at him. Your knife was suddenly pressed against nothing as he moved, and you barely managed to lean back in time to avoid having his knife slash across your throat. Guess we're doing this the hard way, you groaned. You spend every day sparring with super soldiers and gods. More importantly, with the Black Widow. You hold your own against him easily. Though you failed to get the upper hand, you kept him from getting it either. Until you didn't. You slashed at him with your knife, the blade passing right through him. Too late, you realized it was an illusion, and you lost your balance as he grabbed your wrist and twisted it, forcing you to drop your knife before he pushed you away. Your own momentum carried you forward, and you stumbled, only just managing to grab a hold of something to keep yourself upright. Your arm landed on the altar, your hand brushing the hilt of the sword. Fuck! You exclaimed in pain as a seemingly invisible blade sliced across your palm. Your blood welled out of the cut, creeping along the stone altar and coating the metal blade of the sword, and nothing you did slowed the bleeding. You clenched your fist and covered it with the scrap of material from your shirt, but still the blood flowed, pulled out of your body by a mystical force. You were going to be drained dry, and there was nothing you could do about it.
The knife you dropped clanged against the stone next to the sword that was killing you, and you saw the red sheen of blood on the jagged edge. Straight away, the cut on your palm closed, and you looked behind you to see Loki standing there with wide eyes and blood dripping down his fingers. He's cut himself and made the offering to save your life. You didn't hesitate to grab the hilt of the sword and swung it around, pressing the hilt into his throat. "You saved me. Why?" you gasped, still a little woozy from blood loss. He stared you down coldly, refusing to answer. You sighed and took the sword away from his throat and held it out to him. "Take it," you whispered. "Why did you fight so hard for it, only to hand it over now?" he demanded. "I was collecting it for a sorcerer who promised me something in return. You gave me my life. That's worth more. So take it," you told him. "There's a demon trying to escape to this realm that can only be held back by the Sword of Conquest. The Sorcerer Strange will need the sword. Let him have it," Loki snapped, turning on his heel and storming away.
Is that why you wanted it? To stop the demon? Since when are you a hero?
You shouted after him. "Make no mistake, mortal. I am a monster, just not the monster you think I am."
Take it,
you ordered, throwing the sword across the temple to him. He caught it by the hilt, looking at you with a heavy gaze before he nodded once, curtly, and disappeared. "Today." "You told Strange that the sword wasn't there when you went in," Steve said, crossing his arms and giving you his patented look of deep disapproval. "Strange also said someone used the sword to beat back the demon and save this realm from its evil. So I did the right thing by giving Loki the sword," you argued. "You never told me that you had met my brother," Thor said softly from beside you. "Yeah, it seemed like a touchy subject," you sighed. "So Loki's been on Earth for months at least, apparently saving it," Bucky pointed out, bringing the subject back around to the matter at hand. "We don't know what he's been doing or what his reasons are," Clint argued. "We do, because we are telling you," you said, pointing between yourself and Thor. "Even if Loki's purposes were nefarious, he could have let her die," Wanda said gently. "I agree. From what we know, Loki did not need to save her," Vision added. "I have a question," Sam interjected, and everyone turned to look at him. "What did Strange promise you in return for the sword?" he asked. "Okay," you mumbled. "What?" "I wanted to try his cape on, okay?" you sighed. "Ignoring the fact we have a literal child on the team, what do we do about Loki?" Tony asked, shaking his head at you in mock disappointment. "Take a vote," Natasha suggested. "We aren't taking a vote. We know Loki wanted the sword and he got it. How do we know saving her life wasn't part of his ploy to have her handed over?" Steve asked. "But he used it for the exact reason Strange was going to use it," Sam rebutted. "True. But who knows what else the sword can do? What will he use it for next?" Steve wondered aloud. "Thing is, Loki doesn't have the sword anymore," you interrupted with a sheepish expression. "Please tell me you don't have an ancient mystical powerful sword hidden under your bed." "I don't have an ancient mystical powerful sword hidden under my bed," you scoffed. "It's in the back of my closet," you added. "Are you kidding me? Really? Can I see it?" "Are you insane?" "Listen, enough, okay? I've proved that there's at least a strong possibility Loki wasn't responsible for New York. Not fully. Since then, he saved my life, saved the world from untold evil, and then returned a powerful weapon to me. There are a lot of us on this team who got a second chance to do good. Now Thor and I are asking, begging you to give Loki that chance. Just a chance, please." You asked, looking around the room and forcing every single one of them to meet your eyes. "Before we decide, we have to know, kid. Is there anything else you aren't telling us?" Tony asked. You took a deep breath. "Well," you let out a sharp, piercing whistle. What?" Tony asked, wincing and rubbing his ear. There was a rustling noise, and several of the more trigger-happy members of the team pulled their guns out and pointed them at the dark green stretch of material that was floating through the door.
Is that what I think it is?
Sam asked, trying to keep a straight face as the material floated over to you and wrapped itself around your shoulders. It's my cloak, you said in a small voice.
My brother gifted you an enchanted cloak in his colors.
Thor asked reverently. Yes?
My lady, is my brother courting you? In Asgard, to present someone with a garment in one's colors is of great significance.
Thor asked you.
I'm going to ask you this once, and I want a straight answer, alright? Are you having an affair with Loki?
Steve asked tentatively. You felt all eyes in the room burning into you, and the cloak, sensing your internal distress, wrapped itself around your body. 100 memories flashed through your mind. Stolen kisses, his skin sliding against yours, his fingers wrapping in your hair, his name falling from your lips like a prayer. No, I'm not having an affair with him. You thought of whispered promises spoken into the night, and the way his arms curled around you and held you while you slept. Of watching the beauty of the northern lights when he took you to Sweden, and turning around to find him watching you with the same rapturous expression you had given the sky. The way he smiled so freely when he would show you his magic and you'd react with excitement. The way he would shine with pride and burn with lust when you bested him in a sparring match. You thought of all the adventures, the places he'd shown you in this world, and the way he saw it in a new light through your eyes. You thought of the secrets he told you, his confessions of shame, his desire to be seen and heard, to be loved. I'm not having an affair with him. I'm in love with him.
That evening! Should I be running?
Loki asked without turning around as you approached him on the cliff edge.
Where would you go?
You asked him.
Anywhere, if you'd come with me,
he said honestly, turning to face you.
You want me to run away with you? I wanted to be the man you deserved, but I knew the chances of your friends allowing it were slim. I know I have no right to ask you to leave your home, but if I must leave this world, I would rather not leave my heart behind. If you run with me, I can show you the universe beyond these stars. I can show you it all.
Maybe one day, Loki, but not today. The Avengers, this world, it's where I need to be.
It's where you need to be too.
He looked taken aback and cautiously hopeful.
They will allow me to join them?
There are about 1,001 conditions, but yes. Welcome to the Avengers, Loki Odinson. He didn't answer with words. He answered with a kiss that conveyed everything he wanted to say. Into the searing kiss, he poured his joy, his hope, his trepidation, his love.
That ending had my heart pounding. Okay.
Oh, I feel good. This is done. And it was a beautiful ending. It's like perfect. Honestly, though, I get the listener. They wanted to try on Doctor Strange's cape, and I totally understand. She's like, I wanted to try on the cape. And I get it. I do too. That would be great. Oh, man. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed it, if I'm being completely honest. I loved it. It was gold. Woo! But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, maybe even subscribe. And if you didn't like it, thank you for making it this far to the video. You are a trooper. Alright, I'll see you guys sometime this week. I don't know when, but I will. Bye!